All right, we're going to be going over 5 things that if you are a first-time business owner or if you're going through renovations and anything else like that, these are the things that you need to be wary of. This is all the things that I wish I learned when I first started this attempt to expand the business and when I bought the extra 1,000 square foot for my business, right? And I'm just going to list them off the bat, and then we're going to go over into detail on every specific topic. I wish that I knew this before I had to go through any type of litigation and settlement. So I can't exactly talk about the contractors in specificities, but I can go over their experience that I've had with them, right? I can't go over their name. I can't go over the people and who I work. So just be wary of that. If I tend to get a little bit heated, it's because I'm going to be passionate about it and I'm a little bit pissed off about it. That's why I'm making this video. So other people don't have to deal with the bullshit that I had to deal with. Top 5 things are going to be due diligence, plan, and plan again. Be wary of change orders. Outline your own contract and prepare for the worst. First thing, when it comes to due diligence, I want to go over anything that you basically have to do when it comes to this entire project that you're trying to do, right? Due diligence is going to be all encompassing on everything because it can go with plan again. It can go with be wary of change orders. It goes over a multitude of different things, right? If you just do due diligence, this is going to be the best thing for you. It's going to be, you look it up the word on the dictionary if you want to do. It's planning for everything. It's figuring out all the things that might go wrong. It's figuring out the contractors, figuring out the cost effectiveness of it, figuring out if there's going to be different change orders. If there are you prepared for that? If it's going to be figuring out when it comes to the loan, are you going to be able to secure the loan in time, get the contract for the new property in time? Due diligence on everything is going to be, obviously, it's just a term that they use in business. It's a term that you hear it more often than not any type of business, especially when you're growing up, when it comes to figuring out the right fit for a company, figuring out the right staffing for your employment, all this other stuff. Is just do your due diligence, right? Do your background checks, do everything that you need to be doing. That being said, the only problem with due diligence is that it doesn't account for things that happen on a everyday life situation. So obviously you want to be as robotic as possible when it comes to business because it's just business. It's not emotions. There's no ties to emotions. You want to make sure that you're as robotic as possible. Figuring out the X factor, figuring out what's going to happen. If this, and this happens, don't be emotional about it. Do the path of least resistance, right? You want to make sure that you're going to be able to figure out anything that's not going to put your heart into it, just figure out with your brain. That being said, a lot of times when I was doing this, I failed on the due diligence part. That's obviously my fault. I'm not going to be blaming the contractor at all for that. That is completely my fault. I should have done multitude of different things better. I should have done multitude of things that I wish I could take back and I didn't do. Obviously these are all things that I wish I could take back, but you can't change time. That being said, I will take all the experiences that I had and push it forward to anything else I'm going to be doing with future projects for future businesses that make me into a bigger asshole. But at the end of the day, things happen in a way where you don't want it to happen again, right? It's like figuring out if you open up a little coffee shop and there's constantly people fucking up your coffee stations and everything else like that. It's like, okay, well, I need to put a sign, I need to do this, and people get a little bit more resentful, even if it's just one asshole customer, because we always remember the one asshole rather than the 100 5-star reviews. So due diligence is probably going to be the most important one. I just want everybody to pay attention to due diligence. If you don't go watch further past this video, just do your due diligence onto every aspect of the renovations. All right, the second one is going to be plan again. Make sure that everything that you're dealing with is going to be a structured plan for it. I like to plan for the worst and hope for the best. But when it comes to this situation, obviously there's little things that you are going to have a hard time with when it comes to figuring out how to plan for it, right? We can plan as much as we can with what we know. We can't exactly know the questions we don't know what to ask. So when it comes to this whole situation, I want to make sure that this video pretty much goes over into anybody that's starting out a new business. There's going to be different change orders. There's going to be timeline schedules that aren't going to line up. What do you do with those situations if they don't line up? Okay, when it comes to funding, if you don't get the funding in time, if you get partial funding and then you have to take out another fucking line of credit, if there's a disturbance in a water pipeline that wasn't expected and now you have to rechange the whole plans, if the architect did a bad job, if the plans don't match what the code is that the township is going to allow for, these are all things that I wasn't aware of that could go wrong because I didn't even know that they could go wrong. I didn't know that once you sign a contract, it's like, okay, well, we planned as much as we could as a contractor for this specific plan, but the piping is different. The lighting is different. The township didn't approve this code. there's so much red tape on this one, so it's going to push the plans another 2 weeks. So these are all things that you need to account for whenever you're planning. Are things going to get planned to a way where if there is a delay, you're going to get at least some type of income? I recommend going and figuring out a specific contract that you're going to have, not just to where it's beneficial for the contractor, but also beneficial for you. If they're going to make it to where it's going to say a set date is going to be August 25th. Well, after August 25th, let's just say it goes past beyond that. Well, then you can get into a specific contract if they don't finish in time. If there's any problem that occurs, that you can get a percentage out of every single day that they're late, right? You can get, it's going to cost you 50%, whatever the project is going to be. This is how much I pay for. You guys said it was going to get done. It didn't get done. Now you owe me 50% every single day until I recoup my money back. That is going to make sure that the contractors get their job done. They don't pull anybody from their team. You want to make sure that they don't pull anybody from the team, because talking to clients left and right, everyone's had a bad experience with contractors. There's plenty of times where they get signed up on to do a job. Next thing you know, the contractors are there. Great. By the time they get halfway done with their project and their money out of you, they make sure that they do a different job. They get another job that's going to cost $1 million more. So they start pulling people from it. These are all things that you need to plan account for. Township, always think that the township is out to get you, because the township is obviously the brand new mafia that nobody wants to talk about in government. There's so many different loopholes that you can have whenever it comes to a township. I know of one in Upper Dublin where I'm at in my township in Montgomery County in PA. I hear horror stories of you're not allowed to have full ownership of a specific company if you work for the township, but you can give the ownership to your wife or somebody that's in your family, and the township can make it where it's structured in a way to where the electric that you need to get done can't get done unless it's with this company, because this company has this made up certificate that the township created a while back, because that way everyone can get a piece of the pie of that specific certificate of the electrical company. Guess who owns the electrical company? It's the dude's wife, and that company is only the one that works in the specific spot in Upper Dublin, so that way you have to use them, and they're going to cost you $30,000-$40,000 more than any electrical company out there. It's literally the new modern day mafia. That's a little tip for you guys when it comes to this stuff. Townships, new modern day mafia. But obviously plan for all these things. But how were you supposed to know this if you didn't even know the questions to ask, right? This is on, I could go on and on about this, but I don't want to do that. If you guys want, talk to me and Discord or comments below, whatever you guys want to do, all the questions that you may be asking, I'll be happy to answer anything that you may figure out in like, can this happen? I'll comment down below. I'll give you guys some help. Be wary of change orders. This one is super passionate. I'm super passionate about, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm getting super riled up. It gets me to the point where I feel like I'm turning red. My face is heating right now. Yes, I should have done my due diligence. Yes, I should have planned better. There's a lot of multitude things that I wish I could change back. But the one thing that I wish that I know it wasn't my fault, and I wish that there should have been some type of guidance for me. And I don't know if I wish for a mentor, if I read more, if I just did a lot more myself, like if I were more knowledgeable myself. So I try to take at least ownership even in this part, which I think it shouldn't be my fault, but in the end of the day, I think it is my fault. Change orders are supposed to go like this, and I want everybody to know this, and I want everybody to make sure to not do the same mistake that I did. Change orders are supposed to be, you sign the contract, you get approved for everything else like that. Something comes up and things need to get changed. There's a new leaky pipe that needs to be fixed that wasn't on the plans. Hey, these are going to have to get fixed. This is how much it's going to cost you. Do you want to do these changes? Yes or no? Yes? All right, great. We are gonna write out a change order for this. It's gonna be an additional cost. Sign off on the change order, do the change order, do the plans, everything. That's how it's supposed to work. What's not supposed to happen is, hey, there's a leaky pipe here that needs to get fixed. Okay, can you fix it? Yeah. And then that's it. There's no, hey, by the way, it's going to be additional cost. It's going to take another 2 weeks. You're not, the change order isn't going to get signed until after the job is done, which also pisses me the fuck off. And this is why we had to go through, this is why I had to hire an attorney and I had to go through settlement, and I got a reduced fee because of this. And I had to pay in increments instead of a full out sum, because I could take them to court and win, but then that would have cost me X amount of lawyer fees. And then the tenant would have gotten involved. I mean, I'm the tenant. The owner of the building that I'm renting from would have gotten involved, and it would have been a whole mess if we ended up going through litigation. But when you meet contractors that do it in a way to where it saves their back, and they're little fucking schemers, I don't know how else, if you are upset with language, I'm sorry, but they're little fucking shits, and they scheme like a motherfucker, because for some reason they have it in their head to where they just rather not deal with good faith, and they rather not deal with, oh, do you want to choose this guy? Yeah, he did an amazing job. Word of mouth is so important in this line of work that they just don't care. I can't understand why they don't care. It It boggles my mind. I don't understand it. And for some reason, they just don't give a fuck. But when they're acting in bad faith, what they'll do is say, hey, there's a problem. Can you fix it? Yes, I can fix it. Get the work done 2 months after the fact. Oh, by the way, you owe us $25,000. Here's the change order. That's what's not supposed to be happening. Wary of change orders. Please do whatever you can to figure out anytime you hear, anytime you have and this goes back to due diligence and planning. Anytime you hear something about a plan, and even if it remotely changes anything that you already have planned, if it came with a designer, if it came with you and your plans, you need to buckle up, saying, no, these weren't in the plans. No, this isn't going to happen. And constantly go into when they're doing work and see if they're doing anything that you may think that isn't on the plan, because they will put that onto you after the work is done, after the labor is already done, after they bought material. All these things can be a sneaky little cock. I feel like Scarface whenever I think about this company, because I want to tell you guys the name so bad, but it's a fucking cockroach, bro. Scum of the earth. I hate people who do this. I hate people who work in bad faith. It makes no sense to me. Whew. All right. Well, that being said, I want to go over to outline your own contract. Obviously, this goes back into what we talked about before. You can make your own contract to where it benefits you as well as it benefits them. You obviously want to make sure it benefits you as the most party, because you are the one paying for this. You want to make sure that you figure out a way to where you can get compensated for them being late. You can get compensated for them not showing up on time. You can get compensated when they get people off. All these things can be discussed with an attorney. Hire a best attorney. They will give you better legal advice than I ever could. But whenever it comes to getting your own contract for these contractors, make sure that it benefits you as much as make it almost criminal to where it benefits you, and see who signs, because you do not want to just sign a contract without any editing for your own, because they could do whatever the hell they want. As soon as they get the money, it's over. They could take that to court. You could lose. Make sure that the contract benefits you as much as. Lastly, prepare for the worst. I wrote an entire thing. I might even put this Google Docs into the down below. If you guys want, just comment down below if you want the Google Doc. I'll even write down the comments if I get enough comments on this. There's a whole thing that I outlined. But basically, when it comes to prepare, it's a couple pages. When it comes to prepare for the worst, understand that anything could happen. Anything bad that could happen will eventually happen. When it comes to running out of funding, when it comes to delays, when it comes to not getting the material in time, when it comes to material breaking, when it comes to figuring out if you figure out a lease agreement with the specific space they're going to get, okay, well, how much do the contracts need to be changed to give you at least 3 to 4 months of no rent, and figuring out if you had to pay CAM, utilities, all these other things. Plan for the worst as much as possible. I can't, a lot of this I wish I could take back based on my own extreme ownership. If you haven't read that book, in my own head knowledge of, if I were smarter, if I did better, if I figured out questions that I didn't even know to ask, I could have taken it upon myself to figure all this out. Nothing works as good as preparing for the worst, because that allows you to plan for the best. It allows you to figure out your due diligence as much as possible. Be wary of things that could come awry. There's a bunch of things whenever you talk to, or if you're like me and you're watching this video all the way to this end, I'm assuming that you like business, you like money, you like starting your own things. Whenever we see any type of person who's made it, right? Whatever made it is to you in your eyes, it could be $1 million, it could be 5 million, it could be $1 billion, right? You always hear and see, at least what I have as well, when it comes to these people, it's like, oh, would you have changed anything different? Would you have done this or anything else like that? And they would be like, no, because it made me who the man I am. Look where I am now. Look at all this, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. All right, bullshit. If I could change this, I would. Anything, all this, there's so many things that I wish I could change. Watch this video on repeat before you start opening up your own business, if you want to open up your own business, because it is going to help you tremendously. I wish I learned all these things. Figure out exactly what you can do to avoid all the mistakes that I've had. If you think you're being hard on yourself, be even harder. If you think you're playing enough, plan more. If you think you have enough capital, get more. If you think you've done your research, do more. If you have 3 or 4 contractors lined up, get another 4 or 5. If you have different funding that you want to get through credit union, bank, personal loan, somebody that's giving you the loan, get more. Everything is just more. Prepare like your life depends on it, because even though it's succeeded and I'm working it, and we're approaching our 5 years and money's now flooding in again, I wish I never had to deal with the bullshit. We went over budget. We went over time. I had to pay rent. I had to deal with litigation. There's multiple, I wish I could turn this, and I wish I had this video, because I wish there was somebody there to tell me, hey, all these things that could happen is going to happen. Here's how to avoid these things from happening. The video is long enough. I'm not going to pretty much edit this. It's informational. It's just free information, no charge. Hope you guys like it. If you guys want to see the whole outline that I had, because I wrote this down just so I could get a little bit more of what I was talking about here when I came through the text and everything that I wanted to make sure that was included in the video. If you guys want to see this outline, comment down below. I'll make sure to drop you the link to the Google Docs, so that way you could hear everything that's obviously was in my head when I was typing this. Be wary, guys. Plan as much as possible. Always plan for the worst, hope for the best. Okay. It is what it is. Life happens. I wish I could take it back. Trust me. If you think that if you know people who have made it, and I do well for myself, right? Obviously I have 12 employees on staff now. I wish I could take it back, because I just wish things were just different, but they're not. So, hopefully I will do better due diligence, plan better, change orders, anything that I'm going to be taking my own advice from my own bad experiences to make sure that the future never happens like this again. I may be more of an asshole because of it, but it is what it is. This is what happened. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to see more of the list and everything that was on my head and what I talked about, let me know.